Okay, tonight working on another mail-in, and I believe this is a tuner. Okay, this is the Edge Evolution, and it's got a damaged HDMI connector, which is the interface that it uses to connect to the car's OBD system. This is the same with the SCT performance devices and the Mini Maxx tuner. Um, I've actually done a video on one of these before. It was my first time doing it. Since then, I've done a lot of them, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to show you the damage. So you can see here, the port is damaged. This happens when these things fall. Same thing happens with video game consoles, but when it falls, the port often gets damaged, and it needs to be repaired to be used again. First thing I got to do is make sure that the display isn't cracked. I'll be right back. So I'm going to be opening this up. This is not a do-it-yourself project. Chances are, if you own one of these and you broke it, you know, you're someone who drives a diesel pickup truck, or maybe you own a shop and your customer brought this to you and you need a solution, or maybe you accidentally broke your customers and you need a solution. You need micro soldering experience to do this, but it is affordable. If you'd like us to do it, you go to grimwoodfix.com or shoot me an email, grimwoodfix@gmail.com. Got to put this little HDMI port in this thing, got to remove it, and got to not damage anything in the process. I am going to show you how I do that. First thing I'm going to do is get this out of there. Now that I have the circuit board out of there, we're going to go to the overhead camera. Now, when doing hot air soldering, I'm going to be applying hot air to the bottom side of this circuit board, and I don't want to melt the LCD connector, so I'm putting some thermal pads over that, and then I'm going to use some special heat tape to keep those in place. Now, I got to get this HDMI port off of there. I'm going to show you how we do that. So what I have here is this is the hot air rework station. It blows extremely hot air in a precise degree, and then I can position it and I can make that air go exactly where I want it. I use this heavyweight mount to hold the circuit board right above that air, and then I'm going to heat the HDMI port off and put the new one on. From here, I'll show you overhead, but this is kind of what the setup looks like. So dialing in the right temperature so that you don't damage the circuit board, but you can still melt the solder. Kind of depends on your hot air station. You need to know your hot air station, know your tools. My situation recently changed because I changed the heating element on my hot air station, and it completely changed all the temperatures that I had been working at. And that's why I can't really give you precise instruction on, you know, what temperature to run, because it depends on the brand of your system and what good a shape your heating elements in. I think right now with this board, I'm gonna take it up just a notch. Okay, that looks like it's about ready to come off. I'm gonna put some leaded solder in those anchors. And then I'm gonna take the replacement. I should check a little. Okay, so then when I first put that on there, it's too cold, and so it immediately kind of freezes in place. The heat is going to reach up to the HDMI port here shortly, and then it'll allow it to kind of drop down. Okay, good. Now I want to put some more flux here, make sure that all the solder fills nicely. I'm going to go right along those pins. And all right, now I'm going to remove the heat. And I'm just going to let that solder harden. Then I'm going to check each pin to make sure it's connected. I'm just going to come along here with some tweezers and make sure that none of those are loose. If they're not soldered on good, they'll move very easily. These, remember, this is under magnification, so these pins are very small and very easy to move with a slight amount of pressure. So if it wasn't soldered on correctly, with the slightest amount of pushing on it, it would move. And all 19 of those are good. I can see that my 3 anchor points are all good. So we're just going to take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and clean up some of this flux residue. The flux does not interfere with the electronics. It's even advertised as a no clean flux, but I prefer to clean it up at least a little bit. All right. Now that we've got that all cleaned up, we can reassemble. Okay, so now it's put back together. You can see the port is no longer damaged. So now this device is ready to invoice the customer and send it back. Important thing to know is the cable that connects to this HDMI port to the car oftentimes will have broken little pieces from that broken HDMI port in it. You want to make sure you shake those out or use an air compressor, blow the little pieces out, because if you don't, it's going to have a hard time plugging in, but more importantly, you might damage the brand new HDMI port. So make sure that cable is good. Look at it, make sure none of the port looks damaged, the plug. If you need a new one, buy one from the manufacturer. I think they're 25 or 30 bucks, but definitely don't try and plug it in while it's got broken fragments from the damaged HDMI port in there. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, drop a comment. Website and contact information will be in the description. If you need yours fixed, reach out. Appreciate you watching.